Hey, what's going on? Ronin man here. Man, yesterday played a game of volleyball, or 7 games, and it was fucking fun, man. I got so many awakenings about sports, and I thought, man, men in sports is such an interesting topic. Like there's so many parallels to things that just are important to guys, just for whatever reason, the way our brains are. I've always thought, just on a side note, I've always thought that following the ball is very similar to the skills that men had hunting. Like a spear, you throw a spear, you have to judge the wind, you got to judge the trees, the leaves, the animals, the speed, the height, the everything, right? You got to really kill an animal without it, with like your hands and like simple weapons. It is not easy as a hunter, they are smart, and you start trying to do with simple things, man, it's like really challenges you as a man. I think that's what, I'm sure I'm not the only guy who said this, but I really think that's where it comes from. If you need a justification for just fucking enjoying it, or if you're like, hey, I just fucking love sports anyway, that's more like it, you don't need no logic, but it never hurts to understand, right? But, another thing I want to talk about too, I want to include a lot of stuff, is aging in sports, because man, when you're older, it really, it never changes. Here's what young guys don't realize. When you're like 80, you think somehow you're going to go into some other world, or like a video game has another section for you. You're going to somehow be in some new world where you don't care about the things you cared about. I'm here to tell you, you are not. Like, this is the cool thing about staying single and staying free, is that you are the same in many ways. You are fucking exactly the same. And I think a lot of guys, it's not competition. I don't think, personally for me, this is going to be my take in this one, because it's the way I think, and I've never heard it verbalized. Competition is not, for me, it's not what sports is. Sports is a totally different thing to me, and I want to get into it. And I was good at sports. I was not always a star, but I was a star of some teams, get my name in the newspaper, things like that. Every week when I score goals, I was getting my name in the paper. It fucking made me feel so happy. When I saw that paper on Sunday, man, it was like a jolt of electricity. My name, 2 goals, 1 goal. Oh, man, I loved it. That was important, man. That was all we had. No internet, man. You get your name in the fucking local paper in San Clemente. Oh, dude, you were gold, man. You were fucking gold. Everybody knew, right? They did. Chicks knew, oh, so-and-so. Chicks wouldn't read it, but they would find out from somebody else who would be talking about it, And it was a big deal for us. Soccer was a huge deal. AYSO, man, we were super competitive. Way back when Americans weren't. We went to play Mexico. We did all kinds of stuff. Not the national team or anything, but we played like a good Mexican team and got our asses fucking kicked, But it was still fun. It was like a wake-up call for our ball control, right? But that's the thing. There's so many aspects, right? And tonight's is the Warriors and the Celtics, Game 3 of the NBA Finals. And that's going to be interesting, that in itself. I could even go off on that for an hour. Easy, man. But I want to talk about the simple stuff, the stuff that we'll do at Summit, right? Things that we do when guys get together, and learnings that I've had just kind of along the way. One of the funny things is I remember my youth when it comes to soccer very, very well. Okay, that's one of the things I don't forget at all. Like some things I like, maybe because of things that were going on in my childhood, I just don't remember certain classes or teachers, right? But sports, man, I remember like moments of sports, like big time, and very clear, and it's not distorted. It's exactly, my memory on those things is like, I remember exactly what I did wrong, the wind I misjudged, the little bit too much juice on it, the time I, hitting the goal posts, and then trying like, valiantly trying to get in a second shot, and times that someone outsmarted me, or kind of, what do you call it? Something like Draymond Green does. You basically troll somebody and then they make a mistake. I see Jordan Poole doing that in the finals. He's a great young player, but you see him definitely like he gets two guys on him and he goes down and he basically throws the ball away. And it's funny because he doesn't, here it is. The guys, if you don't watch basketball, he's got handles, right? So he's good with dribbling, right? With the ball, bouncing on the ground. If you guys don't know basketball at all, I know there's so many people in different countries listening to this, to Ronin Man. So it's called handles, right? This guy's got handles, right? So anyway, Jordan Poole's got handles and he's coming down and they put two guys on him. He's not used to that. Full court press means usually you don't start your defense till you get near the fucking hoop right on the other end. But when it's the finals, they don't know. They might just try anything to throw you off, right? So they'll double team Jordan and he'll come in. A lot of guys will get the ball stolen. Jordan doesn't. He doesn't get the ball stolen. That's the interesting thing. He fucking somehow keeps it's pretty tough D. We're talking serious high quality D on him, man. Two guys trying to steal the ball. And he'll hold it. He'll fucking maintain. But then when he goes to pass, he not just misses the pass. He throws it directly out of bounds where nobody is. And that's some kind of thing he's going to have to learn, right? He's going to have to see those things and then learn that he's going to need to maybe not so micro into the ball and just start thinking, okay, where am I? Where are those guys? Yeah, man, I can dribble, right? Got handles, but this ain't about, you know what I mean? About showing that off. It's about winning the game, right? So there's so many aspects to sports, man. It's fucking, I tell you, man. So anyway, when I was in high school, right? We played soccer, right? And so the church had a game and a bunch of old guys showed out and one guy had a fucking heart attack during the game. And then the ambulance came and took him away. And because we were kind of wondering, we were young. I was probably 16, right? And I was wondering what happens when old guys play sports, right? And the guy had a heart attack. I mean, a serious heart attack, man. I never found out what it was, how bad, but he was he was not looking good. And they took him away. And then we kept playing and another guy had a heart attack. The same ambulance driver came to our game twice and took two old guys who had heart attacks. And because we were so young, I might have been in junior high, we were laughing so hard. We're just these old guys should not play fucking soccer with us, you know what I mean? Football with us, because we're just too good, right? You know what I mean? I was in a totally different mindset, I didn't have any empathy for the two guys that hard. I thought it was fucking hilarious. To me at that age, I must have been junior high because looking back, I didn't understand really what their life was going to be like in the hospital afterwards. I didn't visit them, never found out their names. It was just some older guys who were falling apart and, shouldn't be out here and that kind of thing, right? So, we go through, we definitely go through stages, Don't judge yourself too harshly based on a misunderstanding, I had never been to the hospital, at the time. Yeah, besides stitches and things like that. I had, vaccines, shit like that, I went to the hospital. But other than that, I never went to the hospital ever, right? So even now, I don't go to the hospital. You know what I mean? It's got to be a pretty weird thing if I go to the hospital, right? My back thing, a few years ago. But anyway, so I look back at myself at that age, and it's interesting now to see young kids with that vision of sports, because now I am an older guy. And yesterday we played volleyball, and you could say on the surface it was jungle ball-y. I know jungle ball is basically when you don't do a clean bump, a clean set, and a clean spike, either a 1, 2, or 3. A 1 set is a little fucking pop, bam, and the guy hits it straight down. A 2 is a nice, soft, lofty thing, and then a 3 is all the way across. So one guy's on the right-hand side, the setter, and he sets it almost parallel to the earth, right? Just sets it across, and then the guy crushes it down, right? That's a 3. Sometimes a 3 is very high too. It's basically from one side of the court to the other. So you need a guy who's very good at judging, timing. A 3's got to be your big hitter. Yeah, your big hitter comes in for a 3. Most guys hit 2s, and then the tall guys hit 1s in general, right? In general. So anyway, we were playing last night, and I was watching everybody. And at first I thought, man, for you older guys, I was just sitting there going, I don't think this is going to be a big deal. These guys can't really play, and plus I can't really jump anymore in the sand. I was good on the sand. I played beach volleyball, so I was, good moving on the sand. I still am good on moving on the sand, actually. That was kind of interesting. I could run on the sand really good because I got the traction from that learning when I was young. You know what? Looking back, here's an interesting point. Speaking of sports, athleticism, and all that, I think I got my most enjoyment last night from chasing the ball. I would get because nobody else could really run on the sand. Actually, I was the only one. That's why I looked around. People could run, but running on the sand is different. Like, it doesn't tire you out when you know how to run on the sand. It's like your feet go into this like wide stance. So imagine if everybody walks on the sand, right? Okay, so you're a guy on the sand is like a professional. It's different, totally different. He's not running like on the hard surface, right? So your feet get a wide stance, and your toes, they just stretch out wide. Okay, each one, and then you're gripping the sand with your toes, right? And then you're putting your head forward. You're kind of running forward with your head down almost, and you're not standing up high. You're standing low to the ground, facing forward, and then your feet are like claws, or what do you call it, man? It's like a bird or something, They're just like they're opening up, and they're just like, and they're gripping the sand, and then you're getting a powerful lunge off each leg. There's that powerful lunge, and you're kind of running. Your feet are kind of not touching the bottom, so underneath the sand it gets hard, right? At some point, you're kind of running almost sideways, so your foot's not going down. It's kind of going a little bit sideways, so it doesn't hit the bottom. And you're kind of waiting each step. You're kind of waiting for that foot in a microsecond to kind of get into a good position, because you can't start lunging when your foot's still in the air or it's still on the top of the sand. You got to kind of let it kind of settle down into the sand, and then you're like, this long, powerful, lunge with each step. Just lunge, just fucking lunge each leg, lunge forward, and you'll be amazed. And go as fast as you can, lunge forward, head down. Feet are like webbed, and kind of going out. They're not close together at all. You're almost like looking, it's quite a weird position, like a duck or something. And you'll try it, just try it. It's amazing, actually. It's a totally different thing. I learned to run on the sand, and for junior lifeguards, we had to all kinds of games to go rescue people and shit. And just a quick note, our junior lifeguards was not like today. I went down, saw the guys doing junior lifeguards today. I could not fucking believe it. It was so sad. We did radical shit, man. I'm serious. This was not one of those I walked in snow. We were fucking badass, man. Our guys, dude, we save people's lives all the time, even without being lifeguards. Like, we just learned to fucking swim in rough circumstances, and how to handle the ocean, and how to just how to be there, how to get there, and then to take care of situations. FYI, one of the key things I learned in junior lifeguards, one of the key things is, if you're going to save somebody, okay, what you think is you're going to go out there and you're going to grab him, right? You can't do that, because he's panicking, okay? He's panicking. So he will take you down, and then you'll have to basically punch him in the face real hard, stun him, move away, and say, do not grab me, and then you have to kind of try to talk him into mellowing down. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is, when you get out to him, take off your bathing suit, okay, and hand it to him like a rope, and say, grab on this. Don't let him touch your body. Just hand him your bathing suit. And then as soon as he grabs it, you start swimming with him, doing a stroke that I can show you when we next time we do the swimming episode. Basically, just calm him down, let him grab the bathing suit rope thing, not the rope of it, but your bathing suit's like a rope, and just pull him in, and talk calmly. Hey, how's it going? We're coming in. We'll be in a second. Nothing to calm him down. Just tell him the situation. Hey, I got you now. It's all good. Just hold on to that. Yeah, just hold on. Don't worry. Just hold on. I'll take you in. All right, man. It's a good day today. Waves are picking up. Just talking about normal things, right? And you're bringing him in. You bring him in, right? Okay. Sports and athleticism and aging. All right. So yesterday, man, I tell you, it's a mind. It's a mindset, because yesterday, okay, so I didn't really want to play volleyball, to be honest. I kind of wanted to mellow out, sit around. I went in the jacuzzi for a long time. I was all mellow. I wanted to have a big fucking meal and just lay around, right? But I had agreed to play volleyball, so we went to play volleyball. And the key thing that made it good is, sorry, my voice. We were up pretty late. We were just fuck it. It was fun, dude. It was fun. And we got there, and And here's the thing. It was a great night. Okay, it was one of those nights where everybody feels like a man again. Everybody. And kind of break it down what we did right. And I want to do these things at the next summit. First thing is everybody was included on our team, right? There was older guys who could not play at all. They didn't even know, how to bump or how to set, how to spike. They just basically would hit it. It would kind of go like quite a bit, out of the court, or you have to go save it, or we'd lose it. They'd hit the net. We were playing with always one or two guys who not only were older, but they didn't know volleyball. So we had, each team had a couple of those guys. And that was kind of key, because somehow when you're playing with people that all can play, right? And I'm not saying I can play anymore, because I was so bad to start this game. I hadn't played a game of volleyball since 1983. Okay, that's the last time I played. I remember I played a competitive game. Oh no, I played one game. No, I know I played some games when I was in the fraternity. I was in SAE fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, and we played. That's right. We did play some good games. That's right. That was the last time I played volleyball. Strange. Partly for me, it was an ego thing, because, or it was a fear thing, because I was a pretty good volleyball player, and I always knew that I was not I think subconsciously I knew I wasn't kind of ready to play the way we played. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to play jungle ball. I didn't want to do this. So I had a lot of excuses in my mind. All that shit put to rest last night. So we get out there. I see our team has a couple guys who really can't play and can barely move around. They're getting up there, close to 80 and things like that. Plus, they can't play volleyball. But here's the thing, is they got challenged, because one of the guys said, hey, you guys can't come because we're going to play volleyball. You guys can barely walk. You're all going to be dead in 15 years. He literally said this, to these guys. He said, we got to play, have a good time. We can't have, we can't just dumb this thing down when we don't play. And so the old guys I think what happened was the old guys got challenged. And you could say that's not a good thing. I think it was a fucking very good thing, because what happens is the old guys, unbeknownst to us younger guys, because I am definitely a younger guy in this group, although there are young guys, but they were out to show that they were relevant, I think. It's hey man, I'm still relevant, a big thing. This is an aging thing with guys. The guys want to be men, human. We want to be fucking relevant still, right? It's not that we want to win. Most guys are not that competitive. It's mostly about being relevant, putting on a good game, putting on a good show, being one of the guys, being welcome at a game, right? Being a welcome team member, right? That's the stuff that really fucking is awesome. And then having a good, couple of really good hits for you and feeling good about it. Feeling good, man, I'm getting it. If I keep doing this, I'll be getting warmed up. And there's just some attachment that sports for men has with youth. Because we play sports in our youth. Anywhere you are, doesn't matter. You could be in Costa Rica, you could be in Brazil, Bolivia, Africa, Israel, it don't matter. China, young guys play sports. So when you're older and you play sports, it brings you back. And unfortunately, it brings back one thing too, is guys that are basically jerks in sports. And you kind of get to see that again. The next time you're really going to see that is in the retirement community. I don't recommend going if you don't have to, because it goes back into some of the old high school mindsets, right? So kind of that stuff kind of comes out. And I was kind of proud of myself, because, what am I saying kind of? I was proud of myself because I became a team member, a team leader of our team. Because when we had this old guy, he's 80, he's trying to get the ball. He's trying. You could just tell he was trying as hard as he could. And then he went backwards and he fucking ate shit. And it wasn't really his fault. It could have happened to any of us. And he kind of lost. He went for it and he went backwards. And not only did he hit the ground hard, but his head hit the ground really hard. Like just fucking smacked on the sand. Sometimes the sand is fucking hard. It's not always soft. And it was one of those ones. He fucking smacked his head. But the funny thing is he got up and people were like, hey, do you want to, do you want to take a break? And I looked at him like, hell no. And he's like, I don't know if it was inside him or motivation or whatever, watching the guys, but he was like, I just need a second. And he came in and he finished the game, did good, started serving better. I was joking about it. I was fucking with him. I'm like, dude, we got to hit you on the head more often. You're going to show out every game. We got to someone's got to bring a baseball bat. Got him laughing, got everybody laughing. And he ended up being a good member of our team, right? So that was cool. That was to me, that's his goal. motivating an older guy, like just seeing him kind of wake up and just get with it, just being into it, fucking being part of the gang, being relevant, all those feelings, man. It's so important. You're relevant, man. That's what marriage and all this shit, all this, one of the things I hate most, is that in modern societies, it's like you can't, a lot of solutions that men naturally take, right? We are very physical. Look at apes. We are very physical. We're just basically advanced apes, right? Look at the way they handle things. We evolved that way. And it has now been demonized, the way that we are, our very being. The thing that anybody who studies psychology knows that if you call somebody fundamentally bad, it doesn't help anybody. Because then the person goes into other mindsets, right? Well, I may as well do this then. If you know what I mean? If I'm not good at the core, then fuck it, right? And that's like when you join a gang, right? You're just like, fuck it. If I'm not going to get my money from school, from work, you go into another mindset. And it is very bad for you and very bad for society, is men need to feel relevant, regardless of whether they win games, And I see this in sports as a big opportunity for guys to show their relevance, right? It's not about, that's the thing. Girls would be like, oh, you go girl. We all showed up. Nobody talked at all. I mean, really, we were not talking about stuff. Even afterwards, like nobody was really talking about the game. But it's because the old guys proved it, right? They're like, we are still relevant. We are welcome in this game. And I heard it loud and clear. I was like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. They were diving for fucking balls. They were fucking going for it, jumping, diving, eating shit. I mean, it was great to watch. And I as a man, people say, oh yeah, you're always, guys are competitive, trying to win. I enjoyed watching them even more than what I was going through, much more. It was very fun to be there, kind of cheerlead them and get them on, get them going. That was fucking fun for me. That was really my enjoyment last night. A couple of things I enjoyed, just kind of get your mindset here, was finally my serve. I started to get my serve back. I didn't get it back, but I wasn't hitting it with real velocity that I can. But I was getting where I was able to float it, where it's kind of unpredictable, kind of swinging around. I was able to do a drop on the left. I was able to, just do a few kind of more tricky moves with serves, kind of bringing back a couple of my old serves. And, I was feeling good. I was feeling great. And I can't wait to get out there. When you play volleyball, if you're good, and I was pretty good when I was young, there's a movement in your arm. So imagine your arm, you got a strong arm, right? Your arm is strong, right? Okay, man. And what you want to do is you want to get a loose, very loose vibe. Like you're swinging for a bat as hard as you can, right? You kind of swing a couple swings, like real hard. Let your shoulders get into it, let your body, let your hips, and just feel your arms just swinging hard, swinging fucking hard, right? Okay, that's what you want to do with a volleyball. And now you're opening your hand like a large web, but it's not hard. It's not like, you're not like a duck. You're more like what would be the kind of consistency? It's like a raw steak on the end of a bull's leg. Yeah. The strong fucking leg, but at the end is not a hard hoof, it's a steak. It's kind of that consistency. That's the consistency you want your hand, where you kind of tighten it up, loosen it, tighten it, and then you kind of like feel your hand become big. If that's the best way I do it, is you feel your hand become large and loose. Okay? And then you don't want a stiff hand, and you don't want too loose, but you want large and loose with large muscles coming behind. That's the feeling. When you get some grind on the ball, you're getting some weight onto it, you're grind, bam. And you kind of curve it down. That's the way to start. You kind of curve the ball down, because otherwise you'll hit the ball out if you hit it hard, right? You're kind of curving your sets down. You're curving your spikes down. Once you get up to the point that you're jumping, like you're getting way over the net, then you can hit it however. There's many different ways you can do it at the net. When you're a foot or two above the net, you have a lot of options, right? But for starters, if you don't play volleyball much or haven't played in a while, you just want to get that curve down where you're kind of like more like the college girls hit it, basically. That's probably the way they hit it, I would guess. I haven't seen them, but I would guess, because they don't have the strength, so they're going to curve it down. I bet you they do. So it's pretty hard, but it's a little bit more predictable than when you get over the top and you just fucking can hit it 180 any fucking where you want. You know, the curve is a little more predictable, but it's hard, it's curving, and it's fast, and it's hard enough. It's hard enough that they miss it a lot, right? So you get into that mindset, and I'm watching each of my moves, and I'm watching the guys' moves, and we just had a fucking great time. We played 7 fucking games to 11, and we ended up, they won the first one, we won the second, they won the third, we won the fourth, they won the fifth, we won the sixth, they won the seventh. So we stopped at 7. So they won. So if it was a 7-game series and it was a home court advantage, they would have won. But it wasn't like a beating. And the reason why it was so fun is we didn't know it about the time, but we had very fair teams. Both teams were pretty fair, actually. That's important too. You want really fair teams, as fair as you can get. Keep switching until you get 2 fair teams. You know, don't just, you pick the wrong teams and just let them go and just decimate the other guys, because that ain't fun. That ain't fun. It's about the moment. It's about competition. It's about playing together, young and old. And also it's just about like pure athleticism, where you're really feeling your oats. And I'm going to end on this. I want to say, for you guys that are not athletic, you were not good in sports, this type of experience will bring back a lot of bad memories. When you weren't chosen for teams, when you made a mistake, when you were made fun of, when you were ostracized. These are very, very, very painful experiences. And I think that is one of the key things. One of the key things that makes the game good is when you allow men to really experience. Every man is athletic at some level. Every man can do stuff, okay? Don't kid yourself. We all evolved. We survived millions of years. We are the survivors. This idea of alpha and beta, hey, look, there are guys on the spectrum of good and bad, but never forget the real test is survival. And everybody did it, okay? So that's my mindset, is everybody can do it. And a lot of times, some guys are not good at sports because they didn't have the right coach, support, mindset, friends, location. They didn't live near the surf or something, you know, they couldn't do something very often because they just physically weren't near it, logistics, you know. And I put my surfing down to that. I learned to surf with nobody helping me. All my friends were way more natural than me. And it just fed on itself. And I never got to be a good surfer. I never was able, as much a waterman as I am, more than my friends actually. You know, as a Navy SEAL, I would kick my friends' asses. But as a surfer, they kick my ass as my brother and everybody. And I've made peace with that. You know, because I know that it could have been so different now. Because at the time I kind of felt, when I was younger, I always felt like I was an idiot, or I was bad, or I was dumb. You know, like you really fucking beat yourself up over sports. So if you feel that way about yourself when you play sports, I understand. It has been, my inability to kill at surfing has been really one of the major challenges of my life. I'm not kidding. It is, because it brings back so many memories and so painful. It really is. It really is. I'm not fucking with you guys. It is difficult for me. And when I get some encouragement, when I'm around friends, they're not judging, man. They're like, hey, you know, try this board. This board will be better for you, you know? It's not like, oh, you can't surf on that board. Fucking look at you, man. You fucking did all you wrong. It's like, you know, because I know how to judge a wave, right? So I'm in the right place, right? And I can paddle like a motherfucker because I do bench and shoulders. So I can move around. I can even get in position better than my friends who are much better than me. And I can judge waves, you know, with the best of them. So I know what's happening. Yeah, now, of course, this is the challenge of a fucking surfer, right? You fuck up all the time. You'll be in and there'll be like an outside set. You'll be, fuck. You know, it's just like, it's a never ending, never perfect kind of thing. But, you know, I can judge a wave, you know, I can figure it out. But here's the thing, then I get into the moment and it's like, it all falls apart. You know, I pearl, I go over the falls, or if I get a lucky wave where it's like a slow, reefy wave where I can kind of do my stumble up thing, and then finally you just do a couple of turns sideways and loosen up, then I can fucking have a good game, a wave, you know. Next thing you know, I'm doing moves like, you know what I mean? I'm looking like I'm not an idiot on the board. But that isn't that often. Waves aren't usually that forgiving. Usually it's like close out, dumping, you have no time, you know, there's not that much shape, or there's other guys and someone's in the way, and you really have to like, to really kill it today. It's so competitive. There's so many people out there. You know, you're not by yourself, so you can't just fall wherever you want. I mean, people do. Boards almost hit me all the time, but real surfers don't do that to people. They know they could kill someone, you know, so I'll let a wave go. If there's a guy, right, some you know, Barney, we call them Barneys, guys who can't surf. There's like some Barney like coming up and it's like right in my way. I'm just like, whatever. There was my one good wave of the day. Fucking Barney's in the way, you know. It's like, you know, you gotta have a sense of humor with fucking surfing. But the thing is I'm judging myself these days. I put myself, kind of because I had to. I judge myself by my own judgment. And I really, really appreciate loving, supportive friends. I do. And that's like 80%. But there's a 10% of me that kind of needs someone to needle me a little bit. Because that's when I really have an epic performance. Is when somebody like Draymond Green, like kind of guy, is just like a fire. He's like too competitive. Like not too, but I mean, for a non-NBA Finals game, like a church game to act like that is pretty, the way he does, pretty over the top, right? But somehow that will bring out this other side of me once in a while, where I'll do one of the shots of a lifetime, you know. And I never forget it. I never forget my shots of a lifetime. So I want to end on that. I want to say that sports can be very healing. You're never over it ever, no matter how bad you've become. I don't care if you're in a fucking wheelchair. If you come to the summit, we're going to play a couple games somewhere on some court. We're going to do something wherever we are, probably LA, but we'll see. We don't have a host yet. You guys, if you want to come, start thinking about doing something like to make it happen. Send me a message. I got a message from Bank. He's like, dude, I want to pitch in for an Airbnb. You know, like that is fucking gold right there. We get some guys who really want it, who are going to really be there, who are ready to fucking throw down, and it'll happen, guys, real fast. So I'm putting that word out there. Let's make it happen. LA is a great place. I grew up near LA a lot of my youth. I know the place well. It's not what you heard. We'll have a good time. LA will be epic. It will have a fucking great time. We're going to see a lot of cool nature. We're going to fucking have a great time. So, and we're going to learn some of these lessons personally, right? No matter how much you think you're no good, you think everybody, because I think, you know, on sports team, like a lot of guys, they're just almost traumatized from their youth, you know? And if you're like that, I welcome you to come to the summit, big time, because I have a way of bringing guys out. I have a way of bringing them out of their shell, because I just see life differently than other people. I just do. And I see you, and I see that you did something, you're proud of something that you didn't do before. Or sometimes you did something you don't really understand. You know, one guy did a hit, you know, Glenn did a block last night, and it was like, fuck, man. I was like, that was the best play of the entire game. Fucking solid block, man. Anybody who plays volleyball would have said the same thing. Glenn had the hit of the game. He fucking just jumped up, fucking two hands. It was almost like he jumped up before the hit. It was perfect timing. He went up, bam, just fucking, roof, you know, just fucking, I forgot what the words we used to use. We stuffed him. He roofed him was a word we used to use, a roof. You know, it's like a fucking roof, right? You can't go through the fucking roof when you're playing volleyball, spiking, you know. It's fucking boom, nowhere to go, asshole. That was the feeling, you know, it was awesome, you know. It hit the ground like within like 100th of a second. It really disheartens you, man. You're like, damn, man. You could at least let it go over, you know. It's awesome. It was great. And, you know, I appreciated that. And you know, he appreciated too that I appreciated it, you know, because a lot of guys didn't know volleyball that well last night, so they couldn't appreciate it. For me, I was like, dude, I see that. And I'll tell you, I'll end on this last thing, is I do the same thing for the other team, you know, because it ain't about winning for me. It ain't. It's these other things that I talk about. That's what my mindset is. My mindset is if I have one great hit, or if one of my friends really comes out of his shell in a big way, it's a fucking great game to me. I ain't making this up. When I saw that old guy hit his head and then do like 3 serves in a row to get 3 points, and he could barely serve before that, man, I was like, dude, we got to hit again. He had more off, and you're fucking killing it. And he played good the rest of the game, and he was diving. I mean, I don't know what his age is. He's got to be close to 80. You know, he was going for it, man. I had heard the guy's like really old, right? He fucking did not act like it last night. He's probably sore today, but hey, man, it was fucking awesome, right? Life is made of moments. Fucking make those moments. And a lot of them for Ben have to do with velocity, movement, athleticism, sports, challenges, competition, pushing your capacity, supporting supporting the guys around you, right? And I have one more point. I support guys, but if they don't put out, I want them out of the fucking game. You know what I mean? If they don't try, like I'm watching close. I don't want somebody to ruin the game. Like you give him a chance, he goes, and he doesn't really try, and then you tell him and he doesn't try again, the fuck out of my team, man. Like, we're all doing our best, man. I don't care if you're 80, you can barely fucking lift up a coffee cup. If you're doing your best and you're fucking going for it, fuck that. Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And I have one last point. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what was that movie with Robin Williams, where he was a teacher. And, you know, the guy ended up killing himself. That guy, he motivated that guy. I thought that was a great fucking movie because it was a story of success with kind of the ultimate failure in a way. But it was recognizing the success of what he did and what that guy did. Now, if he was beyond hope, he was beyond hope, whatever. I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie again. So when it first came out in theaters, I was very motivated by that because I feel like if you come to our summit, try your best, have a heart attack and die, I think that's a win. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the way it is for me. I'm going to be going for it. I'm serious. I'm being going for it in my life. And if that takes me out, it take me out, right? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know, I'm not encouraging you to go and die and all that. Talk to your lawyer and doctor and, you know, the government, CIA and stuff like that. But your mom and stuff. But, you know, fucking, man, go for it. You know what I mean? Go for it. You're not too old, man. Fuck it. And if you're young and if you're already past your sporting prime and you never got it, you were always the guy not picked, dude, you can have realizations that are really amazing. You have it in you. Oh yeah, I got one more. A really important one too. Maybe my most important one. Okay, when I played American football when I was young, I never understood the game. I could not understand it. I would run for a pass, and as soon as I turned my head, I felt like everything was blind behind me. I could not run and look back at the same time and follow the ball. So the only times I ever caught it was when a guy basically threw a perfect pass. And I looked over my shoulder, there it was coming, I grabbed it. Okay, other than that, I was going to miss it because I wasn't able to change my trajectory. I would run as hard as I could in looking forward, and my hands, I could not soften my hands for the catch because I was so stiff from my sprint. And about 40 years old, suddenly, I kept trying to play football. I would do exactly what I'm talking about at a summit, at AA roundups. I've done this for years, taking guys out of their shell, playing sports. And I'd love to take a guy from New Zealand, Australia, who's never been American football before, and get them playing. I got some guy, he was a librarian, and I couldn't believe I had him so motivated. The guy, he dove for a fucking ball down a concrete, like, you know, those concreted rivers, they're just brutal. It's like, it's 25 feet of concrete down to a concrete river in a big city. He dove off the edge, caught the ball. The guy's like 41, fucking face first, fucking hit the ground, 6 feet down, fucking head fucking plant, ate shit, held on to the ball. And that guy was never the same, man. He was just, every time he saw me, he smiled and gave me a high five, man. It was just like, I couldn't believe what it unleashed in the guy. His trust of me. I got him motivated to do that. And of course it was dangerous. Fuck, I would never recommend someone to do that. But for this librarian, dude, it was fucking, I think his name was Luke, man. He fucking, this New Zealand guy. We had because I knew what he did. I knew why he did, and I was watching him, and he knew it. He's probably doing it for me because I was motivating him. He's like, fuck it. I'm playing American football the first time in my life. I'm going to catch this ball. I'm going to do it. And he did it. It was awesome. There's a deep motivation. There's a deep meaning in that, guys. There's a deep meaning in that camaraderie. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.